Good morning, beautiful Earthlings. It's day 36, November 26. You can tell from my voice that I'm really tired. I sound like a frog, and I've been up for like an hour. It's just gonna take a few days for me to recover. So, this is my hotel. There's my gear. Those are my clean socks now. All my stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Ignore this. Isn't this funny? The host left this magazine open on this motorcycle page. I think it's pretty funny. He's like, oh, motorcyclist is coming to stay. Let's welcome her in my own way. So I'm eating like this bread that came as like kind of as an appetizer with my dinner last night, and it tastes like yao jaguai, like my Asian folk. It's like deep fried. Very, very similar taste, actually. People love their deep fried bread in all cultures. So I'm gonna go forage for food, and then I want to get some fruit in me. I haven't been eating fruit the last few days. I've just been eating like big heavy meals, but not enough like fruits and vegetables. And I'm gonna try to bleed the front brakes. I don't know if I'll take it to a shop yet. Maybe I'll just take it to a shop and like talk to them, and if I can't do it, then I'll just leave my bike there. But let's get started with our day. My hotel host is so nice. He helped me try to fix my brake. Of course, no pressure. He thinks it's the master cylinder. Great. But at least he saw that my tail lights were kind of like floppy because the luggage rack like kind of knocked them out of place. So we worked on that. I'll show you in a bit. So now he's calling a bunch of people to see if they can help me with my bike. Look how good it looks now. So there was this really interesting technique where this glue came out from this like bolt. So he grabbed a bunch of like, it was like a clump of hair. It looked like a wig, but it was like twine, like strands and strands of it. And so he unwound it and then like wrapped it around the bolt, and then like put like something like goopy on it, and that created like a more tighter seal to put the light back on. Very creative. It's 3 p.m. My host and I have been working on my bike, disassembling like literally everything related to the front brake all morning, and I've never done that before. And he doesn't work on bikes really, but he works on his own car, so he has the concept of what's going on, but not like the whole picture. And I'm just, I don't know, try to problem solve with him, because it's not as simple as just bleeding the brakes. Something's not allowing the whole system to be pressurized. So I don't know, he's been calling his cousin, like all these random people, mechanics, for help. So we'll figure it out. Good morning, beautiful Earthlings. It's day 37, November 27. Still pretty exhausted. I am going to make my oatmeal, drink tea, and try to fix my front brake again. The saga continues. So the pulled-in lever trick didn't work. And I tried to bleed more, but I can't find the .4 fluid from my host in his garage, so there's an auto parts store right next to him, and he'll get a delivery at 1 p.m., which is in an hour. So I'm gonna go to a grocery store and find food. So all the smog in the air is not from wood burning, it's from coal burning. And that's how people keep warm here. It smells pretty bad. And I don't want it in my lungs, so... Face mask! Okay, all those groceries were about 18 not. And 18 is about $10 US. So that's about right. I'm gonna try another method where I just pump. It looks like I have a leak maybe right here. Something's happening, there's more pressure. Okay, we have our brake fluid, which was 7 mott, which is about $4 US. So hopefully this works. I've been pumping that front lever for like 15 minutes. I am deliriously optimistic that this will work and that I don't have to replace anything, so we'll see. It's getting squishier. Determination. But it's still squishy. It's really squishy. I don't like that. Okay, I'm gonna leave this city sooner than I thought because the hotel host is making me super uncomfortable. Like, he kept asking me to marry him and he just kept trying to push his opinions and ideas over mine, like saying I don't understand, and it was just really frustrating, and I don't like being talked to like that. And I know it's like a culture difference, but I don't think women in Bosnia like being talked like that too. He's just like for example, when he was explaining something to me, and you know, I'm a pretty emotional, intelligent person, I understand shit, And then he's like, oh, do you understand? I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, no, you don't. And he kept doing that like 5 times throughout the conversation. So it was really uncomfortable, but I got my brake fixed. Really, it was just pumping, constant pumping for like 20 minutes. So I'm gonna head to Bijeljina, Bosnia, and just get out of here. Yeah, so I really wanted to get out of there, and my brake is not 100% yet, but dude, I don't care. Like, he was making me feel so uncomfortable. So I'd rather be riding in the dark in the freezing cold than let someone talk to me like that. Describe the interaction. I arrived at the hotel. He was very normal, nice, cordial, helped me load up all my stuff, and then I was trying to fix my bike, and then he was helping me. Like, he works on his own car, and you know, not all guys are like this, but they kind of like take over, and I already know he doesn't know what he's doing. And he like takes over moving my bike to like a more flat area, and I'm like, okay, he knows how to move it, like he probably rides. I'm like, oh, you know how to ride bikes? And he's like, yeah. And then I start working on my brake, and he's like helping me, and he kind of takes over the project, but the way he was doing it, like, he didn't know how to properly you know, when you try to push out air bubbles from the brake, that sort of process, it's not hard, but there's a certain process you have to follow so you don't let air bubbles back in. And he was like letting air bubbles back in, and I was like, I don't think you do it like that. And he was just like not listening and just trying to tell me what to do. And I was like, okay, like maybe this is a different way of doing things. No, it's fucking not. And you know, when I first meet people, I don't like push back, or I'm not like telling them, I'm not like very opinionated, because, you know, I just don't want to cause waves. But then I realized, like, wait, this guy's literally just telling me what to do. He like sees something wrong with my taillight, he fixes it, that's fine, but he wouldn't let me do it at all. And he's like, oh, you're doing it wrong, like, come on, architect, come on, engineer. And I'm like, I don't like being talked to like that. And so that was the type of behavior that took place during all our interactions. And then kept talking about the war and political shit, and how the US and other higher wealth countries like take advantage of poor countries like Bosnia. And he was talking about how China and Russia take advantage of Africa, that's why they're so poor. And I was just like, I didn't really say anything because I'm not well versed in this subject. So energy was no longer good between us. And so I had stayed 2 days, and then today, like, I was like, I'm gonna leave after I fix my bike. And he's like, oh, you need to pay me for another whole day. And that was totally different from what he said before, when he still like was asking me to marry him. He's like, oh, we could work out a deal, like you only have to pay 10 euro, and then if you only stay like a half a day, just like 5 or 7 euro. And then once I kept like rejecting him, like now it's 11 euro. I mean, like, the money doesn't matter to me, but it's like his character and how like the way he handled the situation, like, totally switched. Like, he was no longer a nice, like, oh, I don't care about money type of person, which he said, but now he's just like hella spiteful. Like, yeah, that just, I needed to leave. My shoulder, I mean, I saw something coming. It looked like a rock, but rocks, it's not windy, and rocks don't fly that high, and it like pelted me, and that was it. I hope it's okay. And then I saw a car hit a bird and it like tumbled on the floor in front of me and I couldn't do anything. I'm driving slow though. There's more wind. Okay. Jelena, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Ah! This road is not okay. Oh my god, it's hella cutty. Hold on, let me get on this main road. Oh, thank goodness. Whew. And we are going to Serbia. It's 7 p.m. It takes 2 hours to get there, so get there about 9 p.m. And I'm gonna try to couch surf today. I think I just alternate from couch surfing to hoteling. I feel like I just need a break from one and then go to the other. Couch surfing is a lot more social because the hosts want to hang out with you and talk about and exchange stories. And then hotel is a bit more isolated, except this last one, that guy was too much. So I like staying with couch surfing hosts because they tell you get the real story, and then you learn more about the history of the country, like the couch surfing host family and all that stuff. So I'm extroverted, and if you do that back to back, it's still a lot for me. So alternating works for me. We're at the border crossing of Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia. Border Customs was looking at every single document of mine in detail. That made me super nervous, but he was like smiling the whole time. And I gave him a sticker. Okay, now I'm going to the Serbia border crossing. So I realized my GoPro didn't record the interaction when I crossed the border to Serbia. So I didn't have internet service. I found like one of those little booths that sell SIM cards and sodas and candies and all that. And of course, like, I don't speak Serbian, they don't speak English, and I buy a SIM card, but my phone doesn't always like reconfigure to the network settings or something. And so I always have trouble whenever I cross borders, trying to find where I am. And it was late at night. I crossed at like 8:45, and I bought the SIM card at like 9 p.m. And then the lady was trying to help me like activate it, and it wasn't working. And then she called her friend who thought I was a bicyclist, and I think he's a bicyclist too. So he was very like ecstatic and was like, my parents have like a farmhouse you can stay in if you don't have anywhere to go. And I was like, I already found a couch surfing spot, so I was going to go there. And then she told me like it costs this amount, and I only had like US dollars with me. And then so she brought me into the restaurant next door, and like I exchanged money to pay for the SIM card. And then I was kind of just sitting there because I didn't download offline maps. I didn't, like, internet wasn't working. Like, all I could really do was like go every, I don't know, quarter mile or something and see if I was going the right way, which would have taken forever. And so I'm just sitting in the dark in Serbia, and I hear like another motorcyclist, but it's like a bunch of like teenagers and high school kids. And I was just like, oh god, they're out late at night causing trouble, like drinking probably, and just being reckless. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I didn't feel safe. And then I'm like trying to fumble with my phone, trying to figure out the network settings myself. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see a group of like young kids surround me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the situation I was trying to avoid. And then one of them approaches me and he's like, do you need help? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I thought, like, they spoke very broken English, but I was just like, oh my God, I thought you guys were gonna jump me. Like, I started like maniacally laughing, and I was like, yes, I need help. Like, I need Wi-Fi. And then they were like, I have Wi-Fi. You can connect to my phone. Like, you could tether like hotspot to it. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I connected to his phone, and then, dude, there were probably like 10 kids surrounding me. And while I was trying to figure stuff out, they're just asking what I'm from, what I'm doing. And like I told them I'm from California, like I'm riding my motorcycle, like across Europe and starting in the Balkans. And like it was kind of like a communal effort to understand what I was saying. Like some kids understood some phrases and some words, and they were trying to like piece it together. And then one of them used Google Translate and like asked like the same questions, and I would like type back. So that's how we communicated. It was pretty cute. Like it was just a really wholesome interaction because it was totally different than what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, oh my God, like it's night, like bad things happen at night, like, but it was just super sweet. And like once I figured out my directions and I like screenshotted a bunch of things so I could know exactly where it was, like I still wouldn't have service, but at least like, you know, they got me on my way. So I'm really thankful for that. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. So if you're ever, I really like Serbia, like because that was one of the first interactions that happened to me there, and they're all very helpful. And I gave them like a bunch of my stickers, which was super cute. I had just enough. I think I gave out like 15 of them. That's how many like. That's how big that crowd of boys was. So you can imagine like my fear at night. So, but they were super sweet. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.